Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Bandai Tamashii Nations, the s.h.figuarts, the Peter B. Parker and Mayday Parker 2-pack, I guess, from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Big shout out and thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for sending out this early review sample. Click the link in the video description below if you're looking to pre-order this Peter B. Parker that is not quite yet in stock and available to ship, but get your pre-orders locked in now. And hopefully they will receive them soon. But I am very excited for this one. But let's first talk about the fact that apparently this guy is just super duper tall. Like super tall. Like really, really tall. The s.h.figuarts counterparts to the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse figures have been taller. But I only have two. I have Spider-Punk, the Hobie Brown, and I have Spider-Man India, the Pavitr Prabhakar. Those are the only two I have. And now those ones are taller than the Marvel Legends counterpart. Yes. So this one is going to be no exception. But regardless, I'm excited. s.h.figuarts makes good Spider-Man figures. They're over-engineered and have a bunch of different cuts and things like that. But they are really good figures. And this guy comes with a bunch of stuff. So looking at it, already off the top, you can see that the packaging is much larger than typical s.h.figuarts Spider-Man figure packages and boxes are. Because there's a lot going on here. Not only that is it's quote-unquote 2-pack, because we got that Mayday Parker in there, which is really cool. So looking at the back of the package, you can see everything that we can do. So not only do we get the full Spider-Man suit, which doesn't even make an appearance in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the Peter B. Parker version, right? In the movie, this is how we see him. You know what? At the end, he may be full suit. I can't remember. He may have been. I'd have to go back and look at it. But for the majority of the movie, this is how we see him. He's got, Mayday in that little carrier there. He's wearing the pink robe. He doesn't even have, like, boots or shoes on. He's got, little slippers on and everything, so kind of crazy. But that's all the stuff that he comes with. So he's got a couple of different heads. You could swap out some of the leg pieces. He's got the robe. All kinds of really good stuff going on in here. And again, I am very excited to check them out. I will compare him to like the Mafex release as well as the Marvel Legends releases of this guy. So we can see, which ones may be best for your collection. But what I want to do is get this tray out of the box so you could see every bit of what is going on inside. And as you can see, man, so this is really cool. We get 4 sets of hands without gloves, and then we got 3 extra sets of hands with gloves with the fists already on the figure. So that's 4 total sets of hands fully suited. And then again, the swappable legs there. You got the carrier piece for Mayday. Mayday's even got an extra head. We got 2 extra heads of the unmasked Peter B. head sculpts. We got the interdimensional time travel watch band thing. A couple of web accessories, and I think these ones are different from ones that we get with s.h.figuarts. Although, again, I have all the MCU movie Figuarts figures because they don't do comic. But anyway, lots of stuff going on here. Let's go ahead and open it up and let's take a closer look. Okay, I got the Peter B. Parker figure out of the package. I'm going to have to be quick before this falls over. That's actually balancing pretty good. I've got it on one foot. Not easy. I have to use something like this to help balance it. But man, okay. So this figure is absolutely insane. This might be one of the absolute coolest Spider-Man figures because there's just so much going on in terms of accessories and, changing things up. And it's just a cool Spider-Man figure. Yes, it is very stylized to reflect the animation and design of the Spider-Verse movies, the animated movies. But just so much fun with this guy. Boom, there he goes, and he falls over, and Mayday lost her arms. So that's how kind of the secret to this is, that how they swap around. So the Mayday body, you get the Mayday body, and then the baby carrier, baby Bjorn, I don't know if that's actually what it's called. So the baby carrier piece, you just use the same arms and legs and the same head from it, and that's just kind of how it works. So kind of creepy. Look, there's Mayday there. But just a whole lot of fun. This whole pack is just packed in with all kinds of stuff. But the fun aspect, the fun element of this is probably the best Spider-Man figure that has released in a really long time. I'm thinking, you got the Maximum Series Spider-Man, right? There's a lot of fun factor with this and posing it around, sure. But this one brings a whole lot of other fun. Just look how goofy this thing is. He's got a pink bathrobe on. Like, how ridiculous is that? It is just so, like, I can't tell you how much fun you will have with this figure. It is just so cool. I love it. With that being said, he's tall. He is so tall. I haven't even compared him to any other figure yet, but I just know that he is tall. Too tall. Super duper tall. Like, I don't know what Tamashii was thinking in terms of height and what they do. s.h.figuarts typically has smaller figures compared to other toy companies, but this guy's just going to tower over all of them. So I'll compare him to the Marvel Legends figure. I will compare him to the Mafex figure. I do not, however, have the Sentinel figure to be able to do a comparison there. So my apologies if you were looking for that. I wish I had it. I do not. Maybe eventually I will get around to ordering one. I know that it's getting reissued. I'd have to double check if it's in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. But I'm not looking yet. But maybe in the future I could be persuaded to get it and then maybe do like, you know, a video of, you know, which one did the figure the best. But man, it's going to be hard to beat this guy because he is just so much fun. There's just so much going on to it. So let's go ahead and oh gosh, how are we going to do this? Let's take a look at Mayday first, and then we'll take a look at Spider-Man and kind of go through all of that. Okay, so I want to talk about Mayday first because, you know, she's kind of cool. So you have this baby carrier, baby Bjorn backpack, cuddle, like, I don't know what you call it. But the way that it works, you got a couple of different pieces. You got the shoulder straps, and then you got the waist strap, and then you just kind of have the carrier. And as you can see, the way this all works is Mayday's arms kind of fall out. It's 3 different pieces. So you have the waist piece, and it just kind of wraps around, and then you plug it into those bottom pegs there. And then you got the shoulder piece, which has 2 pegs on each side, which peg into the back of the carrier there. And then you could just, you know, pull that right on off of his arms and be on your merry way. So there you go. But the Mayday Parker, as you could see, the arms and the legs, they just peg right in there. And the way it works is you kind of have that square peg, and then you just kind of fit it inside there, and then kind of do it in there. Whoops. But it doesn't hold real well. And the way it is, you know, you can see it goes in and then it's got a peg in there. So it's weird how it works. You have to kind of like go in at an angle and then peg it in there, and then it's there. There's no swivel or anything because once you touch it, it's basically going to fall off. The same goes for the legs. The legs it fit in there and hold on much tighter than the arms do. The arms just don't stay in tight, but the legs are good in there. And then the way it works is you got the head, and you could just pop the head off, and then you could see the little top portion of Mayday there with like the neck there. And then the way this one works with the Spider-Man beanie on there, you actually have these pieces that come down, but they kind of popped off when I put the figure in the little carrier because it just didn't really fit well on there. Like it wanted to just kind of pop off and like not work. So just a heads up on that. It's probably supposed to be this way. So I'm gonna peg that way, peg it that way there, and then as you can see, you have that there. And then what you could do is you could swap out the head. So you got this one, this Mayday there with no beanie on. You can see her hair's kind of messed up, but you could just pop. Oop, wait a second. No, I need that neck to stay on there. Okay, there we go. We got the neck off. I'm going to put that neck back in there. I wonder why that neck would even come out. I guess it articulates a little bit. And then you can pop this head on there. And then you get a little bit of movement there. And then you get the arms. And the arms, again, they're just going to peg in there. So you got that square peg. So you're just going to go boom, bam, there. And then the other arm, bam, nope. Yeah, bam, nope. Hold on. Apparently I don't know how to put a square peg into a square peg hole. And then you get the legs. So we're just going to put that there. Put that there. So the Mayday really doesn't have any articulation, whereas it looks like you could probably get them to swivel. They don't actually swivel. So she's basically just going to kind of be crawling around, and then you can kind of adjust the head up there so she can crawl, and you can have that look. And again, there are the 2 head sculpts, so we're going to... Oh, I hope that neck doesn't come off every single time. So we got that neck. We're going to put that back onto her body, and then we're going to do the other head sculpt there, and then you can get her to lean up, and then again she's just going to crawl, and then you can get like Peter to hold her. He's got kind of these cupping hands so he can be able to, you know, hold his own baby. Let's see. Let's get him to hold her like so, like bam, you know, and he's holding her. You got to obviously get a tighter grip on there and kind of position the hands and the wrists and everything like that, but you can get him to hold her. That's kind of the idea there. But that's what we got going on with Mayday there. So again, you got this piece, the whole Baby Bjorn piece is in 3 different pieces, so that's what we have going on. But let's focus on Peter B. Parker. Just kidding, back to Mayday. There is some movement in the body, as you can see there, but man, these arms just really don't stay on as well as I would really hope. That is a little unfortunate. So there. So again, you can move, you can adjust that body a little bit as she's crawling. And then you lost a leg. So that's what we have going on there. I wish they would have just given us a Mayday there, and then so you could do this because I guess the idea would be that you can hold the baby. Let me see. Does this neck piece come out? I don't know. I guess you can kind of hide it. So you can have, you know, Peter, he can have the Baby Bjorn in there, and then, you know, it's like, you know, if he puts Mayday back in it, so he could still wear it, and then he can hold on to Mayday that way. But I wish they would have just given like 2 separate pieces, like a whole different body. Just have one Mayday and then have the arms and stuff over there instead of just giving us the swappable pieces. But quick, before I forget to talk about this, because I've already recorded the video and then I was like, oh, let me do some other stuff. This head will not fit on there in the Baby Bjorn because the way the hair is too wide for you to be able to pop that head on there. Now you could just kind of rest it in there and maybe make it work, but that head will not pop onto that peg there. So just a heads up on that. Okay, so taking a look at the Peter Parker, we get a couple of different unmasked head sculpts, and you can see a little bit of a nice little 5 o'clock shadow in there that looks good. This is more kind of just the straight face Peter B. Parker, and that looks pretty good there. You get to see his hair is all kind of up there and kind of wild there. Again, 2 head sculpts, unmasked head sculpts, so we have that one, and then here we have the one that I kind of already had on the figure, and this is kind of that happy, like, open mouth one. And again, that looks very good. I think it looks very close to the animation, so I quite like it, so that is really cool. There, looking at the figure, we get this nice pink robe that does have the bendy wire there in the front and along the bottom, so you could have it flowing in the wind as he's like, you know, web slinging around. So that is really cool that you have that option there, but it's a nice soft robe. And then to swap him out, you just pull the hands off, of course, there, and then just pull like the arms back, and then you could just pull it right on off of him. Very easy, like so. So you got the robe there, and then here we've got our Spider-Man figure. So again, you have these hands that are kind of more the cupping, and then you have just kind of these wide open hands here, and you could swap them out there. But we're going to put on some regular Spider-Man hands. So we're going to do, let's say, a wall crawling or, you know, kind of wide open hand there for the right. And then we're going to do, let's do a thwip for the left. His hands are huge too, by the way. Holy moly. Oops. Is that right? That's the wrong thwip hand. What's wrong with me? Oh, you know what? I forgot. He's got the multi-dimensional travel piece there. Travel watch. Okay, so there we got the hands. So you could swap out the hands, so we get the extra hands. His hands are huge, and the body is huge there. But Spider-Man, you know, obviously here he is unmasked, which we can't have that, right? He's got to be masked, protect his secret identity. The neck piece is a separate piece, as you can see on there. And so I have here the head with the neck already still attached, and we could pop it on there, and then boom, we've got our Peter B. Parker Spider-Man there. And this looks good. I think he looks great. So one thing, the web lines are sculpted on there. They're raised from the figure themselves, and they are painted nicely. Like, I mean, not all toy companies could probably paint them nicely. I don't think Hasbro could do it as nice. That's why, you know, the Hasbro version does not have painted web lines, and I actually prefer that Hasbro would not, because I don't think they would paint them right. And then in the Hasbro's versions, the webs are recessed and not raised like on the s.h.figuarts. How it was in the actual movie, I could not tell you for sure, but I love the way it looks on the s.h.figuarts. It does look very good. Now, the black web lines does make the figure look a little bit darker and stand out a little bit more than I would necessarily prefer, but I don't know if there's really any other way around that there. And then if you look at the bottom legs, you have the swappable legs. So here he's got his tube socks, one's kind of hanging down there, and you can see his boots. He doesn't really have them on. He's got these slipper feet in there, and then you have that toe articulation, and then you can see on there it says Cool Dad on his slippers, which is really cool. But we want to get him in the full Spider-Man getup, so it's actually quite easy. You just pull at that leg, and you could just pull it right off, and then you get the correct leg piece in there, and then you would just port the leg right back on there, and we have a full Spider-Man look, which is great. So zooming out, bam, there is our Spider-Man, and he feels good. Like, he has some good movement, but he doesn't feel stiff. He doesn't feel loose. It just feels really good. Now, one thing about it is it feels very hollow, and I think that's normal and typical for s.h.figuarts. I think the thing that is throwing me off is this guy is so much bigger than we would typically see with s.h.figuarts. Like, when I think of s.h.figuarts in a Spider-Man, I'm thinking, a tiny figure, but this guy, he's just so huge. And again, we'll get to the side-by-side comparisons with other Spider-Verse figures, but man, he's just huge, but he just looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the textured detail in the suit and everything just looks so good. We do get some web accessories, so we get a longer web piece, a shorter web piece, and then here you have another piece that could kind of be like a holding on to, like if he's in the process of swinging kind of thing. So the way it works there is you can put this around the wrist peg there, and then you could pop the hand right back on, and then whoops, I lost that one. Let's do the longer one. Get that on there, and then port the hand onto the thing. The thing with s.h.figuarts is it's a very small peg, so you do need to be very careful how you do it. So then, bam, you could have Spider-Man, bam, thwip, Spider-Man thwipping, shooting the web like so there. So that is a really cool feature. Okay, so we're going to jump right into the articulation of Spider-Man. The head, he can look all the way up, which is great, and the neck can kind of lean back, and then the head itself on the neck gets some crazy motion. He can look all the way down, which is great. You can get some crazy pivot going on in the neck, and then some circular motion there. You can get the arm to go straight on out like so, which is great. You full rotation in there. You have a butterfly joint, which comes out, so you can do some good crossbody, as you can see there. Doesn't really let you go back with it, but you do kind of get some adjustment up and down on that shoulder, which is great there. You also get an upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed elbow like so. Wrists are on a ball peg, so you could swivel around and hinge any which way you need to. There we get a couple of different joints here. We got that upper diaphragm, which will allow you to tilt to the left that much by itself, tilt to the right that much there by itself, lean back a little bit on its own, come forward a little bit as well. But you also have the waist there, so you get a swivel at the diaphragm. So with the waist, you can't really tilt or anything like that, but it does come forward a little bit. So there's this inner piece there. So crunch forward total is that much there. I wish we can get a little bit more tilt. Oh, you know what? You can get some. So you can get a little bit more tilt left to right with that waist as well. It doesn't give you a whole lot in there, but it does raise up a little bit, which is nice. Now, the legs are kind of crazy. They've got all these different cuts, and every Figuarts Spider-Man figure is always like this. It's kind of crazy. You could basically do the full-on splits, and you can kick forward really far, but the leg going back is always kind of what's insane. And so you have this adjustable piece there. It's kind of a floating piece, and basically what that does is that will allow, when you get the leg to go back, how it kind of covers up here in the front. So that's kind of what we got going on there. You got that upper thigh cut in there, double jointed knee like so. There's no calf swivel or anything like that. Foot hinges down. You get a little bit of hinge up, nice ankle pivot, and you have toe articulation there. The slipper feet kind of have the same movement with the ankle. So hinge down, a little bit of hinge up, ankle pivot, and toe articulation in there. So really good articulation all the way around, but that is to be expected when it comes to s.h.figuarts. Spider-Man figures, again, just over-engineered when it comes to like the hip piece. It just, for me, sometimes it's kind of ugly looking, but that's just kind of how s.h.figuarts does it. and it does allow for some really good movement. But let's go ahead and get into the side-by-side comparisons. Okay, so here is the craziness. Here is the Mayfex into the Spider-Verse version. I think that's an important distinction when it comes to body size, not height. Because he's got a little bit of a belly on this guy. But into the Spider-Verse, that would kind of make sense there. As you can see, like texture-wise, they are very different when it comes between the two. Mayfex went for a very smooth look to it, whereas the s.h.figuarts added texture throughout the entire thing. s.h.figuarts looks better to me. I think proportion-wise, it looks a little bit better. And I just love the textured look to it, and the brighter blue, the brighter red compared to the Mayfex. And again, the height difference is kind of insane between these two, because that's something that we don't typically see. But let's go for another crazy one. Okay, so here we have the Marvel Legends one, and the Marvel Legends one is not a completely terrible figure. It's not great. In fact, it actually moves decently well. It's just they didn't paint the web lines, which again, I like to think that Hasbro would mess up the web lines because it's sculpted. That's why I prefer they just paint web lines instead of sculpting it, in my opinion. So we didn't get that there. So obviously, when it comes to the look of it, the s.h.figuarts is really going to stand out and really look better. Proportion-wise, I think this one did well, and this one scales well with within the Marvel Legends. But the s.h.figuarts is just so much taller, which again is quite odd because we typically see s.h.figuarts figures being much shorter and smaller than the Marvel Legends counterparts. But that's not the only Peter B. Parker figure that we had gotten in the Marvel Legends line. In fact, we have two other ones. So here is one where he just kind of had the sweatpant look there and the, bare feet. And then we also had the hobo looking Peter B. Parker there with the jacket and everything like that. So, yeah, s.h.figuarts, clear winner all the way around. And if you wanted to see kind of how he compares to some of the other Spider-Verse Marvel Legends figures, here we have it there. There are a few others. We got the Spider-Man Noir. We've got Spider-Ham, and obviously a couple of others. And then you throw in the villain like the Spot. Well, now they're all falling there. But he towers over everybody. s.h.figuarts, a little too tall. But now, let's see s.h.figuarts to s.h.figuarts. And spoiler alert, unfortunately, I do not yet have a Miles and Gwen. I do have those on pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store, and I completely missed out at the time and never got the Spider-Man 2099 s.h.figuarts. I hope that they do a reissue of him, because I would jump on that pre-order right away if they ever do. You know what? And just for the heck of it, here is the Marvel Legends Mayday Parker Spider-Girl figure. And again, this little girl is going to grow up to be that Spider-Girl, I guess, if that's the way they want to do it. But this is the comic Spider-Girl Mayday Parker figure there. And then you can see quite a big size difference between these two, of course. Okay, so here we have the s.h.figuarts Spider-Verse figures. And again, Miles and Gwen have already released. There's been a couple of different versions. And to be honest with you, I'm a little confused at which releases there have been. I think there is the regular release, and there was an event exclusive release, and then there is the rooftop release where they're like the upside down look and they have more metallic looking colors. And then there's the Tamashii store exclusive version, which is kind of the same as the regular but has less accessories. But anyway, there is a reissue coming on the Miles and the Gwen. I have those both on pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. I will have links in the video description below for those if you're looking to pick them up. They've been selling out, and then some have been becoming available again, so keep a close eye on it. But the 2099 Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man figure, that thing is long sold out. Who knows if there's going to be a reissue. Fingers crossed that there will be. If there is, again, I will get a pre-order in right away, because I would love to then have all of them. Miles G. Morales is up for pre-order, as well as Spider-Man Noir is also up for pre-order. So they're coming. We're getting a few more. I'd love to be able to get them. We'll kind of see. But looking at these two, the Peter B. Parker, to me, again, still is going to be too tall. Like looking next to Spider-Punk, I think is a good height. I think if I look at these, maybe Spider-Punk is the one that's too short. Spider-Man India, I think these two almost kind of make sense, but then I look at these two, it's like, well, I don't know if he was that much shorter than Hobie Brown. maybe he should be a little, maybe Hobie should be a little bit taller. So this comparison just looks a little off to me, whereas this one doesn't seem so bad. You know, getting Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy, I think, is going to be the important thing. So I apologize that I don't have those figures to be able to do a proper s.h.figuarts size comparison for the Spider-Verse characters. But here, it's hard to say. Again, I think the Peter B. Parker, either way you look at it, does end up being just too darn tall. Okay, so in terms of posability, you know, I could get Spider-Man kind of in that Spider-Man pose, as you can see there. It does look a little bit funky, I guess, because he doesn't crunch as far forward, but you can make it work, as you could see there. So you do get some good movement. That shoulders, you know, allowing for that crossbody does help out quite a bit in there, so that is always good. Here's a nice easy go-to that I can pull off there, and this one I think ends up looking really, really good when you do like superhero landing type of pose right there with Peter B. Parker. Okay, and then, of course, you know, the Spider-Man, very posable, so you can get him into some nice poses. I like it with the web holding hand. You can actually peg that web in there, and the web kind of sticks out from underneath his hand. So again, just a whole lot of fun to be had with this. He is too tall, but he is absolutely fantastic. I love the bright blue. I love the bright red. The web lines are painted so nicely. He's got good articulation. He is just really, really tall. I don't know if that's going to be a deal breaker for some of you guys. For me, I just have to wait and see how he's going to measure up with Miles and Gwen, you know, since I don't have them. But I absolutely love the way they designed this figure, the way it looks. The bathrobe is so silly and fun. Mayday Parker, she's cool. I wish she was a little bit better because those arms and legs can easily pop off. But it's cool because you get, you know, the two different looks. You got there with the Spider-Man beanie on there. And then you got the baby Bjorn carrier thing. So a whole lot of fun going on here. The swappable legs are just silly and fun as well. The Peter B. Parker head sculpts look fantastic. But just all around a really, really good Spider-Man figure that I really like. So you guys, give me your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know if you've got this on pre-order. Have you picked one up already? Let me know what you guys think of it, or if you're going to be picking it up now that you've watched this video. Again, link in the video description below to Big Bad Toy Store. It is available to pre-order right now. And again, thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for sending out this early review sample so I could check out for you guys. I'm extremely happy with it, and I think you guys will be too. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.